Hi, everybody, and welcome to CT Talks Episode 9, Wildlife Crossings. I'm your co-host, Laura Estrada Adams, Strategic Communications and Outreach Coordinator for the Division of Human Resources at Caltrans headquarters in Sacramento. We have a very exciting webinar for you today with two of our amazing environmental scientists, Francis Appiah and Selena Oliveri, who are so passionate about the work that they do here at Caltrans, and you'll get to hear from them in a bit. So before we kick it off, we want to do a couple things just to see who's here in our audience today. With the use of your emojis, let us know if you're here for the very first time. Any kind of emoji, throw it up there. First time viewers of CT Talks, use an emoji. There you go. Awesome. All right, so next, if you're a returning viewer and you've been to a couple of the CT Talks in the past, let us know with your emoji. Returning viewers, where are you at? Awesome. All right, and lastly, we want to see if we have any Caltrans colleagues here. So if you're with Caltrans, you're working for our team, where are you at? Throw your emojis up. Yay, awesome. All right, great. So we so appreciate your support of the CT Talks webinars and so happy that you're here today. In case you're not able to stay very long, no worries, we got you. We're going to be sending out a recorded link and a follow-up email, so keep an eye out for that. And just a quick reminder, during today's webinar, we encourage you to put your questions in the chat as Harry and I will be pausing throughout, and we'll pass those along to our two panelists here. And during the webinar, don't forget to keep showing your emoji love for our panelists today. We're super excited that they're here to share all their experiences with you. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Harriet for an introduction.
Thank you, Laura. Yes, super excited for this episode today. My name is Harriet Simpson, your other co-host. I'm the Strategic Communications Manager here with Caltrans Division of Human Resources in headquarters Sacramento. We're super excited to bring you this one today. This is near and dear to our heart and really just so much content to cover today. We're so thrilled. So it sounds like there was quite a few newbies here today. So welcome to CT Talks. This is our monthly webinar series where we connect you with the people of Caltrans and bring you some more information on the exciting projects that we have going on and help you to learn a bit more about Caltrans. So what are we going to cover here today? We've got two phenomenal panelists that are going to share their insight and experience on this topic of wildlife crossings. And as Laura said, you're going to have your chance to ask your burning questions. So throw your questions in the chat throughout, and we will break from our questions to cover those. And our panelists have been gracious enough to say they want to stay as long as possible to cover everyone's questions. So please don't feel just because we're coming to the end that you won't have your opportunity. Please get your questions in, and we will do our best to cover as many as possible. And as Laura was so awesomely spearing on the emoji love today, keep it going throughout. This is a nerve-wracking experience for all of us to bring this information to you and be here live. So please keep the love coming. We love to see all the applause and the hearts and, show you're here, we're here with us. We're all about being interactive. And speaking of being interactive, assuming that you all are wildlife enthusiasts as we are, there's a little bit of a fur texture on the bottom of your screen right now. Can you tell us, write it in the chat, and Laura, if you can throw out, read out some of those answers that are coming in. Answer in the chat what animal you think this is. This is a member of our Californian wildlife. What animal do you think this fur belongs to?
So I'm looking in the chat and I'm seeing wolf, coyote, mountain lion, gray wolf, squirrel, bear,
Squirrel,
wolf, deer, lion, coyote, bobcat.
Cool. All right. Well, a good game's a fast game, right? So if you answered coyote, I saw quail right there. I'm like, that's a stretch, but all right. If you answered coyote, give yourself a big CT Talks pat on the back. You got it right. We'll have one more of those for you after we introduce our incredible panelists today, Selena Oliveri and Francis Appiah. Welcome to CT Talks, you guys. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to hear a lot more about Selena and Francis, their experience and their involvement in wildlife crossings in just a moment. But as I said, there's one more of these guessing games for you. So there's another texture on the bottom of your screen. Throw out your answer. What do you reckon it is for your own bragging right?
I see bobcat, mountain lion, bobcat. Lots of bobcats, lynx.
Yeah, so like this one's a little bit easier, right? Because if you answered bobcat, you're correct. Good job.
Good Good job.
Oh my goodness. All right. So we're having a lot of fun today, but this is a very serious topic, and there's a lot of great content here to bring you. We have been so grateful to get to know Francis and Selena in our preparations for this webinar, and they have put us in contact with so many wonderful people that have given us the opportunity to showcase so much incredible footage that comes from our wildlife cameras, and just we've learned so much from preparation for this webinar. So here's a short little video that we wanted to share with you just to kick this off. And we wanted to express our gratitude to Beth Pratt from the National Wildlife Federation, Joanna Turner, Cougar Magic, Dan Potter, and then obviously Francis and Selena for even helping us to get this all going. So just to start you off and inspire your interest even more so in this topic, let's share this really quick video. Incredible footage, right? This is all from these wildlife cameras that are helping us in the pursuit of protection of wildlife and conservation. So thank you all again for the footage that was provided. And with that, I'm going to kick it over to Laura to get us started with our very first question.
All right, thanks, Harriet. So the first question, we kind of want to dive in a little bit deeper with our environmental scientists here. If you could share more about your role here at Caltrans, how you got started as an environmental scientist, and I will kick it up to Selena first and then Francis.
Okay, hi, my name is Selena Oliveri. I'm an environmental scientist with Caltrans District 7. And I started here, well, I'm going to start kind of from the beginning, I guess. I graduated with a BS in animal biology at UC Davis. It was really hard to find employment after college, so I did a couple of jobs. The original intent was to be a veterinarian, so that's why I majored in animal biology. So I ended up getting a job at a vet clinic, and it wasn't a good fit for me. It was very high stress. I didn't feel okay about, having to put animals down sometimes. So I left that job and then worked in construction for a couple of years. But then my friend Joel Bonilla told me that there was a job opportunity at Caltrans and that they were looking for biologists. And since my degree, allowed me to qualify for the job, I went ahead and applied for it. There was a hiring freeze at the time, so I had to do an interview and then kind of hope to get hired. And then the interview is only good for, I think, about a year. And then I had to do a second interview because of the hiring freeze. And then finally, after the second interview, I was able to get in, and I joined the stewardship unit for environmental planning under Barbara Marquez. And so that's when I met Francis, when I joined the stewardship unit. He was already working here. And we got to make sure environmental commitments were fulfilled for different projects. We got to write natural environmental studies. Francis showed me how to write cooperative agreements, which are legal documents. That was the first time that I got to write grants to try and get funding for wildlife connectivity projects. And in the meantime, I worked on getting my master's degree in biology, and then I was transferred to the COS biology unit where I work under Paul Caron now. So yeah, that's how I started here.
Awesome.
Before I introduce myself, I just want to thank Laura and Harriet for this opportunity. because we don't get it regularly like this. So thank you very much for putting this together. My name is Francis Appiah. This time I am senior environmental scientist in Caltrans. Um, I was born and raised in Africa, Ghana to be precise, and I wanted to be a bank manager. And so I studied cost accounting and financial accounting, which I was good at it. And my dad got opportunity to come to US. He's an engineer, and he told me, I'm not going to pay money for you to stay in Africa or England, and so come to America. And I said, how do I come? So he found for me, I came here. And then he told me that whose money you going to be managing if you're a bank manager? Just change and find something else to do. And so I talk about computer science. I wasn't good at computers because in Africa you can study computer theory without even touching keyboard. So I was like, okay, what about biology to go to medical school? And I followed that pattern, and in the middle of it, my dad was like, I don't have money to take care of anybody, so you're on your own. And I felt like, okay, I have to work 3 jobs. My grades were going down. And I was like, man, in Africa, if you fail class, you fail the whole continent. So you better get it together. And then I was able to get the degree in biology. So my last class I took was elective class, which is environmental science. And I love to interact with the professor and see the trends going to the world. And he said, hey, I am one of the advisors to the master's program. So since you graduated in November, you can start quickly. And then I followed his advice and I went to the master's. At that time, Caltrans came to Cal State Northridge for job fair. And I met Caltrans people bringing the job fair. It's like a big old auditorium, a lot of people, different department, private, government. Then I specifically remember Newton because he came in and I said, who are you? I said, I'm Newton One. I work for Caltrans. And then he walked me through how you can be a Caltrans staff. And he said, go through this link and then take a quiz. I'm like, a quiz? What about if I fail? He said, no, all what you have to do is tell them what you know how to do. You know how to do survey, right? Have you been to field before? Yes. And then Newton guided me through. And then Newton introduced me to another person on their team, Robert Wan. And then he also encouraged me. So I did, took the test and I get about 80%. I'm like, oh yes, I get 80%. So pretty soon, my name is in the system and I get letters to go to interviews. So I went to Marysville, I went to San Diego, San Bernardino, which is our sister district right here. And then I went to Orange County District 12. The place I wanted to work so bad was Oakland. Why? Because Raiders are there at that time. So Oakland, they didn't pick me. And then my last place is coming to District 7 to try my luck if I can get in. And I get hired finally. When I get hired, I was with the maintenance biology unit. And so we do emergencies and then daily maintenance activities. And we do all kinds of stuff with maintenance. And I love going in the field with maintenance because they let you try a lot of things. I like for them to lift me up on a cherry picker, for me to do bed nesting survey and all that. That was fancy. And then a year and a half later, they split the maintenance biology, take some staff to stewardship unit because they created stewardship unit. And then I went there, I have to do mitigation stuff. I still have to get opportunity to work with everybody. And then while in the stewardship unit, we were like shocked. We need more people. And as Selena said, we get interviewed. We thought, oh, they're going to come and help us. Highland Freeze came in and then we have to wait for another year. Then they came in and they committed to do great work, and then that's where we have been through that. And then I get promoted to associate. That was a party time. I was quiet in the middle of it. It was so nice to get it promoted, and I saw that, oh, there's a continuity. And so years later, I get promoted to be a senior, and that doesn't stop me to do what I do or what I do with Selena in terms of wildlife and in terms of what we do outside to promote wildlife. So that's me in a nutshell.
Awesome. Thank you both. We're just so thankful and honored to have you both on the Caltrans team and just to share your experiences, what brought you here and just the opportunities within Caltrans. Thank you both so much. So
Thank
next
you.
up, we are going to do a show and tell, and Harriet's going to put up some slides. And Selena and Francis, please feel free to talk about these pictures that we're going to be showing right now.
Okay, so the top left one is me at Wildlife to Watts, an event that's associated with the National Wildlife Federation's P22 Day. It's kind of an offshoot of that. And I'm holding I think it's a ball python. Yeah. So.
And then the next picture is Francis and Secretary Crawford. And this was a P22 memorial when P22 died. That was the time that I saw all elected officials, secretaries, politicians, everybody got together. And I finally met this man and we took a picture together. He was like, I'm going to send this to Talk. And then I was like, oh, our boss going to see this. So that was that.
For the bottom left, that's me, Francis, and his name is Edward, the one wearing the uniform with the beret. And he's part of the anti-poaching unit at the Lua Conservancy in Kenya. So it was really cool that he got to come over from Kenya to check out our Wallace Annenberg Wildlife Crossing project. He kind of wanted to see, how things were, our habitat is versus the habitat in Kenya. And he was kind of shocked to find out that our lions don't have manes, the mountain lions. So he thought that was interesting. And I don't know if Francis wants to add to that.
Yeah, so during the P22 day, we met Liwa Conservancy, Wildlife Conservancy representative. Her name is Amanda. And then after that, I always send email, nice to meet you, and great that you guys are doing this anti-poaching job and saving wildlife in Africa. And I didn't hear from Amanda. She didn't respond to my email until 3 weeks ago. I was about to go home and I saw email like Francis. I'm like, who? Amanda for 3 years? And then she said, oh, Officer Edward is coming to town and it would be cool if you guys would take him to the wildlife crossing and he will be very happy. So I called Selena and I said, man, we have to be a good host. So I rushed to a store and get some LA hat, New York hat, and then New York is Yankees, and then LA is Dodgers. And then I gave him neutral one as I think San Francisco. And then we gave him P22 shirt. And this guy, a tall guy who is like twice my size, like he just happy to be in that crossing. And he sent us a letter giving us this this hat, if you can see it. And he sent us a letter that, dear Francis and Selena, thank you for guiding our tour of wildlife crossing and for being excellent ambassadors for conservation. We look forward to your visit to Liwa, Kenya, Edward. And then this morning, when I opened the package and saw this, it was like, wow, emotional to me. I'm going to talk and you send this. That's awesome. And then the next picture was partners met in Agora Hills. We are eating, and then somebody called Beth that, oh, NBC and CBS want to talk to you, but they said that they're doing something because there's a protest in LA, so they cancel coming to meet you at the crossing site. So we eating. About 5 minutes later, they call again that, hey, no, we coming. And then Bev said, Selena and Francis, please stay. And then we stayed, and I get there. Bev was like, Francis, pick the replica and carry it. And then the news people were shooting on it and all that. So at that time, no groundbreaking, but we were showing them where the crossing is going to be. Also, we showed them the Corvette where P-64 used. That Corvette is 750 feet long. It's dark. Selena and I, when we went there, I tried to be a great like the lion. I enter, as soon as I get to 150 feet, I feel like, no, it's too dark. And now I realize how bad it is for animals, how I felt bad, like couldn't go through 750. So that is that one.
Awesome. I love all these stories. Did we have another one, Harriet, to show?
We do. I have a couple more, but I just wanted to ask, since I know people probably from LA County that are tuning in know who P22 was, but could you guys share, there's been a few mentions of P22. Could you educate the rest of the audience in case they're not aware?
Okay, so P22 is a famous mountain lion who was born in Santa Monica Mountains near Malibu. And mountain lions at the age 1.5 years, if you're male, you have to go find your own niche. If not, your father is going to beat you up and kill you. So P22 decided that I'm going to do my own thing and family, see you all. So he left Santa Monica Mountains near Malibu, cross State Route 27, cross 101, portion of the 405, and cross the 5 and came and lived in Griffith Park. He lived at Griffith Park for 10 to 11 years. And he became the icon of the wildlife crossing because he showed that the animals want to go somewhere else or they want to move around. And since the road network has bisect all these habitats, then we have to do something. So Bev Pratt cut P22 cut aboard, and she used it everywhere she go. And people love the cut board and taking pictures with it. And P22 unfortunately died a year ago where somebody driving hit him. So the eyesight wasn't good. And then he couldn't hunt the way he wanted to because as a lion, you have to be powerful and hunt. And then later on, some people's dog or chihuahuas were attacked and all that. And so CDFW feel like he's not behaving the way lions behave, and he's getting old. And they did a lot of tests. A lot of people wanted him to live for long, but unfortunately, they have to put him down. And his legacy is still on because his face was used to build wildlife crossing, and his face is going to be used for wildlife crossing for many years to come.
Absolutely. Great story that you're sharing there regarding P22 and his legacy. Thank you so much, Francis. All right. Do we have another slide right now, Harriet? Here we go.
Okay, so the picture on the left is me and Catherine. She was a horticulturist working on the Wallace Annenberg project for us and setting up the nursery. We were collecting local vegetation seeds so that when we're ready to plant for the project during phase 2 and maybe partially phase 1 on the bridge deck, that we would have locally sourced seeds. Francis, do you want to talk about?
And in addition to that, Catherine started trying to make sure we have all native vegetation about 5 miles radius to the crossing so that anything we do have same temperature, acclimatize easily and grow well, less water needed and things like that. So her job is pretty great. And then we get opportunity to go collect this seed and all that type of thing.
For that, we collected milkweed, which is really important for monarch butterflies to reproduce. So we're going to be planting a lot of that on the site.
And then below it is Francis getting 50% or 5 seconds of fame. It was a groundbreaking post party. and I was put impromptu to come and say something about the crossing and about what Caltrans does, because everybody see Caltrans, either we building a road or we delaying traffic or directing traffic. So people hate us on a lot of things, but when they find out that Caltrans are biologists, scientists, and a lot of that, people were like, excuse me, so are you saying Caltrans, the one that built the road, is who you work for and you are helping wildlife? It was a thrill. And so, yes, standing in front of over 10,000 people and making sure that I represent my organization right, Africa right, and making sure Selena will vote for me when I'm going to DC and all that. That was pretty good.
You could talk about the one on the top.
And then the one on the top, after they put all these pillars, the first rain was coming and we decided to go see the BMPs that was set. And then I get there and the excitement took me away. There was a sunrise and it was raining and the sunrise. We checked the BMPs, everything is set with one of the man that I call him the best inspector of all time. He took us around making sure we check every BMP and check off that it is good and it's working. While we are there, a lot of things happen because the hawk, the red-tailed hawk, sitting on top of a fence looking at us. And I told the hawk, stay there, please. We are not done yet. And then we saw a praying mantis who want to go straight on the highway to cross. And I told him, hey, stay there. We haven't finished yet. So we took a lot of pictures that day. And it was fancy to stand in the rain, checking BMPs and the sign is out in the middle of rain and then enjoying yourself because it have taken over 15 years of making. So seeing that was a dream come true.
And then the picture at the bottom is me, Karina, and Chelsea from Save LA Cougars and the National Wildlife Federation. They wanted to take a site visit of the 118 project. This is the project that I applied for a grant. I applied for a EEMP grant and they were able to do simple modifications to a culvert, or not a culvert, 5 different locations. This is just one of the culverts. And this one is called Wailing Siren Culvert. So I was just like, kind of guiding them through the culvert just to see what the animals see when they're trying to make it across the roadway. It's on the 118 in Somis. And it's a primarily agricultural area. So you could kind of see in the pictures that it says that it's intended for wildlife use. It says it in both English and Spanish. So yeah, that was a fun day. They got to see all of the different locations that were funded.
And then on top of that, they were so thrilled to see what Caltrans does in terms of helping wildlife to cross. And Caltrans team and our management also went there to see this. Selena, forget to tell you guys, she won award, SCAG, Southern California Association of Government Award with this project. And we supposed to have like a big old auditorium type of thing and the COVID hit. And so they have to come to our office to interview her and then making sure they publish it and everything. But she got an award for that. So this is an award-winning project for wildlife.
Wow, absolutely amazing, Selena.
Thank you.
We're so proud of you. So exciting.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
That's something we forgot to talk about on our many meetings. So somehow that didn't come up. But yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Super exciting. Awesome. So I think that was the last. Oh, one more slide. Here we go. Who wants to go first?
Okay, so the top one is Francis looking at the crossing because I was taking the picture and sending it to Africa in New York. And it was early in the morning. After this, I'm going to a meeting. So you see my backpack, have my suit and stuff in it. But I decided there's an area near the crossing called the Summit. The summit is 2,000 feet high. So I always beg Selena to go up there with me, but she doesn't want to because she said that she's not built to go there. But
I've done it before.
But I go there to sit there to see the crossing also to see where lions were killed on the road, and also to reflect when is it going to be complete. So that's that.
The one at the bottom is us with Agora Hills Conservancy, and we were
Foothill.
Foothills Conservancy, sorry. And we were there to support them trying to get a grant to obtain a parcel off of Chevy Chase Drive in Glendale, so they could preserve the parcel for wildlife connectivity and leave it as an open space, help restore it. It was a $1.5 million grant, and they ended up getting it.
Yes. Last 2 weeks, they get emailed that after further investigation and review, they have got the grant. In that picture, we did wrote a letter of recommendation for them, and then after they saw the letter of recommendation, they invited us that we should personally be there, and then of course Francis will talk when he get there. So I put some words in it that the people that are supposed to give the grant were like, "Who do you work for?" And they forget that Caltrans badge is right my neck. And so, "Oh, you work for Caltrans." And they were so happy to see a conservancy, which is a non-profit organization, a small conservancy, able to work with Caltrans and Caltrans supporting wildlife cause. So that's one of the things that we do, that we support the local and small entities, big entities, whatever they want to do that we think it will benefit the state, it will benefit the wildlife, we support that as well. And then the picture that I'm in green, we are in the Caltrans emergency site, and it's a mitigation site. And then I saw animal footprint, probably is bobcat and raccoons and stuff like that. I was expecting to see mountain lion, but I didn't see the mountain lion footprint. But the corvette over there is small, and I was showing my coworker Newton how hard it is for this wildlife to be able to go through this and cross it about 1,500 feet on the other end. So I have the face mask P22 face mask that I have. I always carry it to everywhere I go because of I do like mini commercials for P22 all the time, making sure everybody know who P22 is, and also making sure people know about wildlife and educate people. So that was where I can prove to people that wildlife are struggling to cross, and so in future there should be a crossing there. And as I speak, we're talking about crossing going to put there in the near future. So my campaign is working.
Okay, so the bottom picture is just me standing at one of my project sites for the 118 Wildlife Modifications Project. That's at Mexico Creek, and it's just showing wildlife fencing. It goes up 8 feet and below 2 feet, and there's tension wire so that wildlife cannot dig underneath, and it's to help prevent wildlife vehicle collisions. It helps to funnel the wildlife to the crossing.
On that too, there used to be a lot of suicide or animal suicide that they get killed by trucks. They run over trucks. And so after this fence funneling them to go under crossing, all these road kills have been stopped completely. And the place look like, if you go under crossing, you can see thousands of animal footprint ranging from mountain lion, bobcat, raccoons, including road runners and all kinds of animal using it. And so another fancy job Selena did, he was shy to take that picture, so I sneak it quick, he didn't see it, and then bam, it's there.
Yes, that's all.
Awesome. I just love the camaraderie between you two and the working relationship. I'm sure everybody in the audience can see. Harry and I both.
Yeah, me and Francis work really well together.
She's the only person I work with that I've never argued. I've never shown my face angry. We don't argue. We look at it and then we do it as a team and with respect and dignity. And so it's hard for you to work with your co-workers. There's another co-worker I work with that have similar partner, Naila El Shamas and other people. But Selena and I, because we always know that if it's messed up for wildlife, people going to call us. I was in New York last week where people calling me that, have you heard the good news? And I said, what good news? Check on your emails. Now find out that a new mountain lion has come to Griffith Park. And it's like every news is on it, people calling me. And I was like, I'm in a funeral, but it's a good news. And so I will enjoy it after. In the plane, when I was talking to you guys, somebody like, who you work for? And I said, I work for Caltrans. Then you're talking about wildlife? What do you know? And I showed this face mask. Said, oh, so you know him? I said, yeah, P22. So we talked from New York all the way to LA, educating health about how we're doing and what Caltrans is doing, what governor initiative wants us to do regarding wildlife. So it's education campaign every day.
I love it. You guys are just amazing power team and just still educating people even on your time off. I mean, it's like 24/7 nonstop, like just amazing. Absolutely. Appreciate you guys both. Yeah. I mean, this is great because this leads into a question in the chat right now that is a pretty common question, talking about a lot of the photos we saw with the vegetation and the seeds that you were showing specifically, Selena. People are asking, like, how are you going to direct the wildlife to these culverts, to these crossings?
Well, there is a wildlife fencing component to the Wallace Annenberg Wildlife Crossing. And it's, I think, roughly 2 miles.
More than 2 miles.
Yeah, of fencing. So that will definitely help. Also, habitat restoration. They're doing a lot of grading, a lot of plantings. The wildlife has to feel comfortable to use it and feel like they have coverage to be able to move through and get to the other side over the bridge. And it kind of, Rock and Associates, they're the ones doing the design for the project. They did it in such a way that, it blends seamlessly with the cliffs on the other side. So it's just, yeah, those are the 2 main components.
Yeah.
To help lead them.
Fencing is a key, and also native vegetation, and then making sure that it's appealing to them, making it nice. Last week, on Monday, when we are on top of the bridge, from the north side, you can see it clear that it makes sense that where they put the wildlife crossing, because you can just go walk straight to the top of it, and even without finishing with the vegetation, you can do that, and it's fancy. And I'm afraid that P94 that live 1.5 miles to the project will try it, which it will be good news if you try it. But vegetation, fencing, and making sure that there's no room for them to go otherwise. Other than that, we would defeat our purpose. So these are things that we're doing. Also, that Selena, forget about the sound and lighting system.
Mm-hmm.
It is all part of this, so that the animal will feel comfortable that there's not too much light shining. I don't hear too much. If you saw me last Monday, I was trying to listen where the trucks that are going speedily 60, 75 miles per hour, if I can hear the noise on top. But if you are further north of it, you don't hear anything.
Okay.
And so those are things: light, sound.
Also slope. They designed it in such a way that there's not such steep slopes, because a lot of wildlife don't like really steep slopes.
Yes. So
it gently kind of blends in with the surrounding habitat.
Yes. So those are things that we're doing to make sure they feel comfortable. I get opportunity to be in the one in Nevada, I-93, and it's like if you're up there, you don't hear noise. At night, the light is kind of dim, or you don't get the light, and they get happy to run on top, thinking they are in their own world. So that's exactly that we're trying to do here.
Great. And I'm so glad that you mentioned the news with the new sighting of the mountain lion in Griffith Park. Super exciting. So we'll wait to hear about that more. Thank you so much. I'm going to hand it over to Harriet next. What do we have next, Harriet?
Yeah, so our next question, there's a lot of questions actually in the chat that are synonymous with the questions that we're going to be asking. So that's awesome. So a lot of people are asking, like, why are we even building the crossings? Obviously, it's to protect wildlife, right? There's an obvious, but how do we know this is going to be a benefit? What are we doing to support, the locations? There's a couple questions here about tracking of the animals to determine that. But I'm going to share a couple slides real quick. I do want to give like a trigger warning to everyone. It is a like minorly graphic, but just to show the vital importance of why these crossings are being built. So this one obviously is some images that Francis and Lena shared with us from some of the wildlife cameras, just to share that, to show what animals are being seen. And so can you speak briefly to this? And then I do have, my next slide is where the trigger warning is in place, but I think it's important to show from a safety perspective. So Francis, I'll start with you.
Yeah, so like I mentioned in earlier, that 118 is a small highway. It's a 2-lane highway with big trucks going to the farms to pick food and flowers and stuff like that. Good stuff that we eat and we get happy with. But it comes on a negative note that a lot of animals died on that route. And so when Selena get that grant and put ramps, there's sometimes a drop of it, like 10 feet, 20 feet. When she fixed all these improvement, roadkill reduce, and animals get opportunity to move around. You can see a skunk. They are part of the nature too, so don't insult them. Just love them the way they are. Their color looks cool, but yeah, don't go touch them because they smell or something. But they're part of the ecosystem. Then you get mountain lion. When we are doing this, we didn't even know the mountain lion exists there. But I told Selena while they're building it that this area have a mountain lion. But I didn't think about the bear. And then the bear came in. And then we get raccoon footprint and coyote footprint and all that after the rain. But why are we doing this? If you are driving, we want you to get home safe. So it's safety first. And Caltrans has been talking about safety every time, your job safety, office safety, field safety, every safety. And we want every parent, every uncle, brother, sister, anybody to go home safely. So if you see these images, you ask yourself, did the people survive? First one is Colorado, and the person plowed through a deer, and unfortunately, she didn't make it. And the deer, about 5 of them died. We don't know how many that were injured. After this, you have to have highway patrol. I don't know what they call it in Colorado. You have to come, site assessment, and all these things. Cost to the state, cost, like they will close the road. If you want to go somewhere, you are late and you're crying, why they close the road? You don't know that somebody passed through a wildlife collision. And so these are the reasons why we are building the crossing. We don't want to see these images. As much as we are presenting to you guys on this, it is so sad when you see the images like this. And then if it happened in front of you, it's like you get trauma to yourself. And so safety is the key. We want safety for motorists, safety for the wildlife. Some wildlife, they leave their young ones to go search for food and bring it back. And so when they die, other animals can eat them or kill them. So safety. Also, we want to spread good genetic material, variability among them, because we live in a world that extinction can take place. And if extinction take place, we lose species, and it's not good. And so safety and then genetic variability. If you go to the next picture below it, that is Caltrans, our own road, State Route 14, where the bear is acting like he's asleep, but he was hit and killed. That's the State Route 14, Santa Clarita. The bear was killed. 2 cars hit the bear. For the first time, they stopped, and then they called CHP, and then maintenance came and cleaned up. And it's also, again, same story, safety for the motorist, safety for the wildlife. And then on top of it is the mountain lion also hit 3 miles to where the crossing is. And similar incident happened. The person who hit the mountain lion, the car is messed up. You have to buy a new car when it happened like that. You have to go to hospital. All these bills accumulate. And if you go to UC Davis website, in terms of road ecology and things like that. They have quantified how many dollars we spend in a road collision between wildlife and motorists. It's like it go up to billions because it's not easy for you to get healthy quickly. You will get medication, hospital visitation, chiropractor, a lot of things go through. Then, of course, you need a new car. Lucky that some of these people live or were able to live. For example, the one below the mountain lion is Atlanta, Georgia. The person is driving and then the deer jump in front of the windshield. So she twists the car and then before realize hit and then boom. She said she experienced a minor injury, but guess what? The deer is dead and minor injury doesn't mean minor. He's going to have a lot of pain later or hospital visitation. The car is total. You have to buy. So if you put all this quantification, you would rather have a crossing for animal to move freely, safely, and then the motorists drive safely and smoothly to get to their family.
Yeah, so the wildlife crossings promote coexistence between humans and wildlife. And going back to what Francis was saying about the genetic variability for wildlife populations, National Park Service did a study on the local mountain lion populations, and they were able to tell through genetic testing that they were inbreeding, and they were even showing physical signs of inbreeding, such as a kinked tail and like their testes not descending. So it was not good for, mating, and that reduces their genetic variability, and then that could lead to extinction. So we're hoping that the wildlife crossing will go ahead and give them more areas to like cross and safely, and mix the gene pool up and
Find mates.
find mates. Yeah, so we could continue to have them living.
Yeah, so the genetic variability is also the key again because when it happened to Florida panthers, people thought, oh, it's Florida, it's far away from us. But 2 years ago or 3 years ago, when they find out that it has hit Southern California mountain lion, all eyes was like, what? We too? So we doing these crossings for animals to intermingle, move freely, to share their genes so that the genetic material will become variable and quality.
Absolutely. Such great points. Thank you so much for sharing. There's a lot of questions coming in from the chat regarding this. So how do you determine the locations of these crossings? People are asking about roadkill data. Is that something you both are involved in that you could share a little bit about?
Well, we could talk about how Paul Edelman wrote his thesis in, I believe it was 1990, citing the 80?
Yeah.
Citing the location as the perfect location for a wildlife corridor. That's kind of where it started.
So if they ask the question about how do you determine where the crosses will be or crossing will be, you need to do studies. Like we always pay National Park Service to do wildlife study on a highway. After the study, they will recommend that this is the area that you have to put a crossing or improvement. If you improve this culvert, it will be good for wildlife usage. If you put it here, it will be good. So like Selena was showing a picture where Bobcat is walking around or moving around, migrating back and forth around our freeway. If there is a crossing, he will use it. And so that studies help us. Also, roadkill data in the area. For example, you talk about 118. There was a lot of roadkill there, and that made Selena get something to stand on. Certain grants, if you don't prove that there's a roadkill there, they won't give you the money. They will give it to other entity. For example, for this project, I lost 3 tiger grants to Montana, Wyoming, and of course, San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge Park. All because I did not prove to the people or to the grant reviewers that there is a accident and traffic indices that affect human beings and when the roadkills happen. So you have to have those studies to support. And then we do our own field tracking and all the camera studies. And we go see animal footprint and then making sure it support our studies. And when you put there, it's not that you just want to put something there, it will be usable.
Yeah, just like Francis said, the studies are super important. So we had for the 118 project, the one where you had all the pictures of the animals using the ramps and everything. We had National Park Service do a pre-construction study. And then we did the EEMP grant, and we were able to construct the project based on the data that the study that they had, just based on the data they had found with the study, and which locations needed them most. So it's always like an informed decision whenever we decide to construct something. It's not just randomly placed. So we were able to construct it, and then they did, through the grant, they were able to do a post study also. And last I heard is that it's getting a lot of usage, a lot of the locations in that area. So I was really happy about that.
And that
Yeah.
project also has been in the news, News One, and News One came and they just trailed that a small amount of money compared to this one as able to get wildlife from one place to another. So that was also part of our education campaign.
Yeah, the grant was total $3,490,000 and part
350,
340.
350.
It says 349,000.
Okay.
Yeah. And so part of it was for the construction, part of it was for the study. So you don't need, millions of dollars to be able to make a difference for wildlife connectivity. I mean, even though I'm like super stoked on the Wallace Annenberg Wildlife Crossing, but that has like a lot of other components. You could also just put in a ramp and a culvert just so they could cross it. Like at Long Canyon, it's like a 10-foot drop. We just did a simple concrete ramp, and that's it.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, obviously it's a big undertaking. You're saying there's a lot of studies, a lot of data that you have to review, and whether it's, what was it, 349, 350, I don't want to quote because it looks like there's a bit of a
Don't worry,
in
we'll
the
put in a
room.
ballpark around that.
But approximately.
Yeah.
Approximately around that.
Yeah.
But obviously that's a significant amount of money, right? Because people are saying in the chat, like, why don't we just build wildlife crossings everywhere and protect every area? Well, in an ideal world, of course. But Selena, just for time's sake, you segued us into our next question about the Wallace Annenberg Wildlife Crossing, which is a big project you both have been involved in. So I want to steer it back over to Laura to guide you on a little question about that project.
Yeah, thank you. So regarding the Wallace Annenberg, that crossing, there's been some exciting news just recently, last couple of days. I wanted to see if either Selena or Francis would like to give that announcement about the Wallace Annenberg Crossing project.
Okay, so after 15 years of working on this project, and I was there for the first girder to be lifted up. When the crane was messing up, I was like, at least lift one up for people to be happy. So we get one up that night. That was exciting.
Yes.
And then we get happy to see the last one going up on 101. And then the excitement was Selena and I get opportunity to sign or write something inspirational on it with our name. We were able to sign our supervisor's name on it, and I stated something that from my heart, and it was a blessing to be there, and it's a joyful that 82 girders has been placed, and and then we get opportunity to stand up there to see north, south, and everywhere. And if you stand up there, it makes sense where they put the crossing because it hit the mountain ranges perfectly, connect the mountain ranges perfectly.
So exciting. So really quickly, we have a little compilation video that we're going to show with that last update. I'll hand that over to Harriet now to play that video. party to be had, right? That night, huh?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Super exciting. You guys got to get those pictures of you guys signing over to me and Harry. We need those.
Okay,
Yeah,
I have them. I have them.
we have
Yeah,
tons
love
of them.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah. So since we're on this topic now with the Wallace Annenberg Crossing project, some of the questions we kind of talked about, like Harry was saying, some of the topics are in the chat. What more can you share with the audience about this specific project that you both have been involved in? Any more insights you'd like to share and experiences with that? And either one of you can feel free to go first.
Well, I feel like Francis should go first because he's been involved with the project longer than I have.
So this project came about way before me. There was one of Caltrans staff. Now she left Caltrans. Amy Petler. Now her name is Amy Bailey. Amy started working on wildlife and represent wildlife in for District 7 in Caltrans. And then she get opportunity to move to headquarters. And Barbara Marquez replaced Amy with the wildlife. And when I get hired, it's sad for you to even go stand in front of engineers to tell them about wildlife crossing. They will laugh at you. I get laughed at in many meetings. Like, hey, you put in a wildlife crossing, just a bridge for animals? Are you going to put signs animal can't read? So they laugh at me and all that. And now guess who's laughing now? So when I became part of this project, it started when I-405 or Interstate 405, a mountain lion number P18. P18 and P19 were travel. P18 is a male, P19 is a female. They were travel trying to cross around Sepulveda area and Getty Museum. And always, I guess maybe mountain lion, they are like African men. Oh, you stay, I'll go. When I be able to get there, you go after me. But unfortunately, P18 get hit. When P18 get killed, the people that reached there first stop and call CHP that a big cat with a long tail had been hit on the road. So CHP came as a mountain lion. Then they look on the side. P19 was looking at her brother and he said, nah, I don't want this piece. I'm just leaving. And so she left and then they pick up P18 and give it to National Park Service. A day later, my supervisor is on vacation, Barbara Marquez is on vacation, and I get a call that, are you Francis Appiah? And I say, yes, your supervisor left a message that you are in charge. She's on vacation, so come to LA County office. And I said, where is it? He said, oh, right behind Caltrans building. I said, okay. So I went there. I was the least dressed guy in the whole room. Everybody have suit and tie. They all look fancy, looking good. And then I went and sat at the back. So they're talking about how the county and the city should improve fencing and all that. So I sat down for about an hour without saying a word until last minute. And I said, now it's my show. So I educate them about fencing. That Caltrans fencing is 5 to 6 feet. And mountain lion can climb, can jump, can do anything. And so if you want fencing, you have to go all the way to the sky. Even that, mountain lion can climb. So fencing is not only fencing we need. We need fencing, covert improvement, improvement of vegetation, wildlife safety signs, and all that. I didn't know they have a secretary or stenographer typing everything. So they sent that to my supervisor saying, this is what your staff said. Is that true? And my supervisor said, everything she said is true. I'm not adding anything to it. So after that, I thought we were going to do stuff on the 405. We didn't do it. And then fast forward, I was at home getting ready to go to work. Early in the morning, my supervisor, Barbara, called me. Francis, there's a bad news. And I said, what is it? Are you okay? He said, no, there's a mountain lion that been hit on Liberty Canyon. And I said, oh no. And I came to the office and said, do me a favor. Go and check the fence and let's see what happened. So I checked the fence from Palo Comado all the way to Los Hills. And when I was getting back from Palo Comado to Los Hills in the middle where Cheeseboro Canyon, I find this. This is Antes. And when I find this, I was like, okay, there's a life here, there's mountain lion, and everybody live here. So I have to be careful. And then I came in, I wrote mini report for her. And we thought we were going to do something quickly. Another mountain lion was hit again less than 6 months later on other off-ramp, same Liberty Canyon, and that generated attention. At that time, we have former mayor of Agora Hills, who became state senator, Senator Pavley, who also sent her team to study the area. They studied and came out that, yes, Paul Edelman's study is true. We have to put a crossing there. But where is the money? We don't have the money. That's where I started writing Tiger Grants. Tiger Grant, I think it's called Transportation Investment Generating Economic Recovery Funds. In this Tiger Grant, what it is it gives you money for you to use to support transportation facility. I applied for the first one, 20 million, I lost. Second one, 22 million, I lost. Third one, 25 million are lost because I don't have accident indexes and roadkill data to support my stuff. And I thought the whole world is gone. And then Senator Pavley said, no, we have to talk to Caltrans to improve Caltrans right away with native vegetation and fencing. And she get a grant of 250,000, and then she started making improvements. So the first thing is we did improvement around that area and fencing. That was the first time you saw 10 feet fence on one side. And then after that, we still have to build a crossing. So Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy gave the first $250,000 for the complete paid document, project initiation document. After that, we get silent again. And then people still talking about it. We decided to go two options. One, a tunnel. Two, overcrossing. The tunnel, you can do it without crossing the whole highway until you're finished. And then the city doesn't like that. And then overcrossing, which is the expensive version, yes, you can cross lanes and you allow traffic to flow. And so we decided to go to the overcrossing. At that time, it was 60 million in 2010, 20, up to 2014. And then the prices, inflation goes up, so it went up. And fast forward, we finished. Selena and the team did all kinds of things. They did put environmental document together. We finished the environmental document, but where is the money? And so 2016, that's where we had a campaign. Initially, at that time, Erica was the project biologist. Erica was also, she hired the same day Selena was hired.
Yes.
And so they were two best friends. And Erica used to go to those campaigns and told us about Beth Pratt. Oh, there's a lady with a P-22 cutoff board, and he passionately speaking about wildlife. And she said that we're going to raise funds for this. And then at that time, I haven't met Beth Pratt. But 2017, then a kickoff again, Senator Pavley said that we should have public hearing. And then Caltrans organized the public hearing. Public hearing that I get opportunity to speak. At that time, I was shy, but I was able to speak. And after my speech, telling them about all these animals and what it will benefit, it became like, okay, now it's a showtime. You have to build this. So I always end my speech with build it before I die. So that also became something that people love. And then Beth started consulting people and money started coming in. People, junior high students, high school, everybody donate something. You go to do campaign and they keep donating. And then finally, we get up to this. But there was a study that in 1977, Santa Monica Mountains have noticed that the road has bisect Santa Monica Mountains into two. And so the only way to connect it is the Liberty Canyon. And Paul Edelman wrote his graduate thesis. And now Paul Edelman is still working with Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy. And he worked for Nature Conservancy as well, but now his main focus is preservation and making sure land preserved for wildlife and for good use. And during that, we met a lot of people. One of the things that I cherish is the Native of Americans' involvement with this project. And I will read one of their quotes that during the campaign I heard, and it touches me. Prior to Western occupation, the Conejo Valley, which is part of where the Liberty Canyon is, was the traditional territory for Venturenos Chumash people. Traveling from the valley to the Pacific Ocean was dangerous for humans as the mountains terrain was inhabited by the array of large predators. Today, the opposite is true. The opposite is true because the animals are not getting killed and then human beings are doing it. And so he said, you should build it, make it safe for animals and for the motorists. And so that's a brief history of the project. Why are we doing it?
So much rich information that you're sharing. And we love your storytelling, Francis. And I don't know if we believe the part you said you were shy at one point, but yeah, you're doing amazing.
No, he's not.
So.
He said that all the time. He's not.
I love all the shout outs for all your colleagues and past, supervisors. And also to Beth Pratt, of course, she's like the celebrity of like conservancy. And I did put some little links in the chat as well for following Save LA Cougars, which is Beth's platform if you want to learn more about that too, and P22 and also Cougar Conservancy, since we're on those topics. Anything else you want to add, Selena, about your experience too with this project?
So like Francis said, my friend Erica was working on the project first, and then she ended up moving to Seattle. So then I got to work on the project, and she had started the natural environmental study, and I got to finish it. So we got to do a lot of field surveys and look at the creeks and measure them and see what kind of habitat was out there and do oak tree surveys, stuff like that. So yeah, it's been an awesome project to work on. I think some of the construction monitoring that was going on at first was interesting because there was a woodpecker that nested in a telephone pole or a utility pole. It was a utility pole, and that stopped construction.
It delayed construction.
Like right away, like right when we were getting started. So, it was just funny because we're doing this big wildlife crossing for wildlife, and then the woodpecker just kind of goes in and is like, no, then we have to protect that, make sure he can nest, and they fledge. And then so we did that. It held it up a little bit, but I just thought it was kind of funny. I don't know.
I like where Bev said that, hey, it's a wildlife crossing project. Leave the bird alone, let him finish. But the contractor's face is like,
yeah, they did.
Come on, man, let's go to it. But the contractor later on understood that he had to wait. And so they keep calling Selena, hey, are they going yet?
Yeah, so we had to monitor them, but that was fun. Yeah.
And then also on top of that, when the project was given to Erica, I was on a different unit. And then one day I'm in a Thousand Oak construction office and Selena called me. Hey, Francis, are you in the office? I said, no, I'm in construction office. We're doing stuff there. And then he's like, I need to talk to you. And I said, about what? And then she was like, about the Liberty Canyon Wildlife Crossing Project. And I said, what about it? He said, now I'm inheriting the project. I'm going to be the biologist. And I feel like I have to talk to you because you know more about this than anybody in the office. So would you help me? And then I said, talk to my supervisor, Eduardo. And I didn't know how many minutes Selena took to talk to my supervisor. So I get to the office. My supervisor, Eduardo, said, Francis, walk with me. I'm like, where we going? We went to a conference room. He closed the door. I'm like, uh-oh, what did I do wrong? He said that, hey, Selena told me that you're supposed to help her on the Liberty Kenyan crossing. And you started the project. So you work with her and make sure it get built. You heard that? And I said, thank you. And I shake his hand. And then I left the room and I called Selena saying, hey, Ed talked to me. And then who am I to say no? So I will help you. And I can see Selena writing NES. I go like, hey, let me do this portion for you. And then you do this. Sometimes she get like, she looks stressed. I'm like, no, you don't have to. But he said, I don't know how you do it, but yes, it's stressful. So I encourage her and we doing all this. Field, we go to the field. At that time, the rattlesnakes were hiding until later on they showed themselves up. But yes, she went through a lot of things, changing things, put things new. And anytime you think you're finished, new information happen. And then you have to add it. And so it has been a great teamwork. And also another supervisor, now I have to mention her name because she made me speak in the public hearing. That is Susan Say. Susan said that somebody in the bio team have to speak in the public hearing. And at that time, he was challenging the deputy. Somebody challenging deputy for me, I was like, wow. So Susan also became part of the team, and it has been a very great team and worthwhile.
Absolute powerful teamwork for sure behind all of this with the partners and just everybody involved. Thank you both. So I'm going to go ahead and roll it over to Harriet.
Well, I was just looking in the chat. There's a couple questions regarding like maintenance of crossings, especially the kind of over freeway crossings. So what kind of maintenance is required for a crossing like this? They're asking like mowing, weed abatement, watering of the vegetation. What does that kind of look like?
So everything has been divided into the partners. For example, Caltrans is responsible for the bridge maintenance. So we have to make sure from today to the day I'll die, that thing stands, and then to generation to come. So Caltrans is responsible for the bridge maintenance. For the vegetation and weed abatement and everything, Santa Monica Mountains is going to do that. And so there is a partnership and a division there. That is basically how they structure it. But that doesn't stop Caltrans to tell them, hey, don't cut this because we think it's good for monarch butterfly, or make sure when you're doing this, can we be there to see what you're doing? Even though Santa Monica Mountains has been in the business for many years, we are partners to them and they respect us and stuff like that. So it is divided in that way.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, as Laura and you all have said, there's so many different partners on projects like these. So it's great that it's all kind of divvied up. Everyone's got their responsibilities. There's another question here, which is curious. So with building these crossings, is there ever any thought of partnering, they're saying with state parks and seeing about making a trail for hikers as well? But I assume that would be kind of counterproductive because it would bring more of the traveling public, and then animals might not want to use the crossing. But what are your thoughts on that?
You want to go or you want me to go?
You go.
So earlier on when we planning for this project, people wanted to be having a bike trail, a hiking trail. And then the city of Agora Hill said that there is a trail on the north and a trail on the south. So if anybody want to use the trail, use those one, but leave the bridge for the animals. Well, can you stop the people to go stand there to take a selfie? I don't think you'll be there 24/7, but there's a camera sitting on top of the summit that record everybody. So even if I go there unannounced, the camera captured me. And so if anybody want to go do anything fancy or bad, the camera will capture you. So don't, but the city want absolutely no trail on top of the bridge, just leave it for wildlife. When you go the north side, there's a trail, the south side, there's a trail. So just enter the trail on that side.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Makes sense. Um, just trying to see if we can touch on any other crossings regarding this project specifically. Thank you all of you for sticking in here with us. We're trying to be as concise as possible, but there's so much rich content to cover. So we appreciate you being a part of this and sticking around till the end. Any questions that you've seen, Laura, regarding the Wallace-Annenberg project?
Actually, I have a comment here I'd like to mention here from one of our colleagues here in Caltrans, just wanting to remind everybody too that when we're doing outreach engagement, that our tribal partners have been one of the absolute most best partners and pivotal partners in providing data and migratory information and historical recounts. And this is always proven very valuable for our prioritization and evaluations of locations for crossings. Can you guys speak about anything about the partnerships with the tribal communities as well? Have you had any experiences with that?
Yes. We have, like I read the story that they shared with us. There are about more than 3 tribes. I don't want to mention the name and get it wrong, but they all have input. Like all the plant selections, they were so in it, making sure we represent the area right. Also, they also believe that exactly where the crossing is supposed to be, so they supported that. They all outreach, they show up. They have their storytelling. They do all kinds of stuff. They offer prayers before groundbreaking. They were there, so every involvement they are part of it, and we will never reach this stage without the tribes.
Yeah, we did have a meeting with them to help get their input for the plant palette for the project, because some of the plants or the native plants they use for medicinal purposes. So they just, we wanted to like see what they wanted specifically, and yeah, it was good coordination, good effort.
And they also tells you what animal you expect to see here. They show you specific, and it's a blessing to have them on a project like this, because their involvement making it some kind of easier to see. I remember when they mentioned that there's a road runner there. I think Alan Salazar said that, but I didn't believe it until Selena and I went to the field, and then Loa, the road runner in front of us. And it's like I'm watching commercials or something. So if you listen to the tribes and you work coordination nicely with them, they will give you encyclopedia of knowledge on what you're doing.
Absolutely. I just want to add that I put in the chat a couple times the Save LA Cougars website, and I'm almost positive that's the one where I saw a video. There's some great videos in there, and one of them is with, I believe it was, did you mention Alan Salazar is his name, I think?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I've seen him a couple of times on different videos. And
Yeah.
I do believe it's on the Save LA Cougars website. So that's in the chat. I'm going to put it back in right now. And that'll give you more information about the 3 different tribes that Francis was mentioning.
Alan usually does like opening ceremony for us whenever we have an
Yeah.
event, and like we'll bless,
And
the
then
event.
he's a storyteller, and I think he write books. And then he have a conservancy agency that they also preserve lands and making sure their way of preserving things still exists and things like that. So it's also one of the educational guys on this project.
Right. I have seen
That's
some.
why I read a quote about what he said during our meetings.
Yeah, he's had some really amazing videos that I've seen and watched. So they're definitely worth watching for sure. Thank you.
There's been a few questions kind of throughout at the beginning, and then even now coming through. How do I get involved in this kind of work? And I know our next question was about outreach and education. So let's educate people on, people talk about how do I volunteer? How do I get some experience doing this? Some people have master's degrees in wildlife management, and they're looking to get in. They're passionate about wildlife crossing and habitat connectivity. What kind of advice can you give to people that are looking to get into this line of work?
Well, so I didn't even get my degree in like environmental planning or wildlife management. It was more strictly animal biology and biology. But just apply onto the website. It's with californiajobs.gov.
Yeah,
I believe.
college.gov.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
And
gonna put that
I
in
can
the
send the
chat
link
right
later.
now.
I
The
can't
link.
remember it off the top of my head, but there's always new positions open, and I would look at that.
And I'm
And
going to
then-
put those in the chat really quickly, the links for CalCareers, but also
Cal
for
Careers,
anybody
yeah.
here is interested in internships with Caltrans, we hire like 300 plus students yearly, annually, which is a great way to explore these type of careers. So I'm going to put those in the chat right now as well.
And I think we do have an intern coming in this summer, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So that's a good
We
way
would
to
love
get
to,
involved.
love
Yeah,
to, like,
one already
meet them.
started.
Oh, okay. I know Save LA Cougars, that's like they have a volunteer program. So that's, separate, but it's still a way to engage with the community and like education, stuff like that. As far as other outreach and education, me and Francis, like about a month ago, we went to was it the Maya Angelou High School?
Yes.
In Los Angeles for their career day, and we just let them know like, hey, this is an option that you could do for a career if you're interested in wildlife or helping the environment.
By the way, the environmental team is going to invite you to come speak.
Where?
The same school.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
We love
So,
that.
yeah. So, things like that. And we've done like, we were always at P22 Day for, with our booth and sharing information, not only about the Wallace Annenberg Wildlife Crossing, but also about some of the other efforts we're trying to do. Yeah, there's like a map back here, just showing like where we've had wildlife studies done with National Park Service and some of the areas that we're trying to improve. So they've done studies they're doing studies right now on the 101. They've done a study on the 126 that we got a grant for. This was like almost 8 years ago now. So yeah, there's a lot of different areas. I don't know if you could see it on the screen, but just a lot of different areas that have been studied. And this is like critical wildlife corridor area that's provided by SC Wildlands. So we try to use that as a layer to help us determine where we need to investigate, I guess.
Awesome.
But anything else on outreach, Francis?
Yeah, so outreach.
Oh, grants.
Yeah, talk about grant.
So we've done like multiple grants. We've done the SPR grant through the state and got funding to do the wildlife study for the 126, as well as Rocky Peak. That's the study that they're supposed to be wrapping up right now, or soon. And we did the EEMP grant, and that was to fund the wildlife study in Somas on the 118 also, and then do the construction. Those are the ones that we had showed the pictures for earlier. So this map right here is for the Rocky Peak study. NPS provided that for us, and that's just to show one bobcat that's collared, and it shows all the points of where the bobcat is located. So you could see it staying mostly on the north side of the highway. That's the 118, but you could see it trying to cross, what is that, like 15 times the freeway, and then just going back up into its territory. So they collared multiple animals, multiple species. So this is just like one example. They still have to put the report together for us so that we could determine like where we need to do more improvements. So that was pretty cool to see that. And I don't know.
Yeah,
go
Go ahead.
ahead.
Were you going to say something else?
Oh, I was just going to ask you, Selena, because you're talking about the tracking. There were a couple questions about the tracking process, and I know you shared a bit about that before. What does that look like? How do you go about tagging animals, find the calls? How do you select which animal you're going to collar? Can you share a little bit about that with our audience?
So as far as like selecting the animal species, we usually leave it up to National Park Service to determine which species they think is in the area and who they should be monitoring. I did get to go to the field with Joanne from NPS before, and they were able to trap a bobcat, which was really cool. And they used a cage, but there was a smaller cage with a dove inside of it, or a pigeon, to lure the bobcat in.
Oh my
And then
God.
the bobcat goes in and then she tranquilizes it and it's sleeping for a little bit. And then we got to take hair samples and blood samples. So that was really exciting to see that.
Measure the
And
teeth.
what's that?
Measure the teeth.
Yeah, measure the measure, different body
Mhm.
parts to see the growth rates, I guess. And then so that was actually a highlight for me working here at Caltrans because I was like, oh my God, I get to pet this bobcat right here. It's awesome. And then once they start coming to, they'll put them back in the cage and then just wait for them to be okay so that, we make sure we're not just leaving them there. And wait for them to wake up fully. And then once they are, they'll go ahead and let them out of the cage.
I
So that
think
was
I
really cool.
recall you saying, Selena, that the bobcat was kind of feisty, right? After you woke up.
Yes, it was not happy. I know they are very cuddly and cute looking sometimes, but it was not happy and it was
Aw.
growling at us. But
Yeah.
that was really cool to see too, because I was like, man, that thing looks strong. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also in addition to selecting animals, you have to have the top predators. For example, if a mountain lion kill a deer, even ants get something to eat. They cannot eat all of it, so raccoons and coyotes also get piece of it. So the keystone species like mountain lion, bobcat, coyote can go first, and then the rest. Recently, they color the deer.
mhm.
They did color a deer on Liberty Canyon, and P94 eat the deer. D7 was killed by. So it was so sad. They're looking for the tracking, and it's right sitting on P94 side. And that was funny. Like, why did you do this? And then so keystone species goes up, and then other animals will follow because they smell food. They know that, oh, there's something here. So normally we leave it up to them to decide, but mostly they go with the top predator in the area, and then
Yeah.
they follow that pattern.
And then for the Rocky Peak study going on, they were able to collar a bear also, which was really cool. But I just talked to Seth with National Park Service, and he said that it was collared, but they lose weight in the winter,
Mhm.
and it was in its den, and I guess the collar slipped off. So yeah,
At least not dead.
no, it's still alive, but it doesn't have the collar anymore. So it's pretty cool. Like, I want to go help them collar more animals and see it. But yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
On top of the outreach, you want us to talk more about it or later?
Yeah, absolutely. What other outreach are you doing? If you want to speak to that now, let's
Yeah,
go.
so the outreach, I started from young class, so I go to elementary schools, and in the inner city or whoever invite me, and I go there. I first drum for them to be happy and excited, and then the principal will tell them about. Do you remember P22? And all scream, yeah, in a big auditorium, and then say Francis gonna tell you about wildlife, and then they learn after that. They go home, they tell their parents, and the message continues spreading. Also, we help a lot of city and county. We go to meetings and tell them what wildlife stuff that we're doing. And I've been in a SCAG meeting. I help them to generate wildlife information and what Caltrans is doing. I support them, their green print that they're doing. I volunteer to be one of the people that will help the studies to go. I write my comments and send it to them. I work with cities, counties, anybody who like to do wildlife stuff. We also work with Ventura County, the Ventura County office, where we help them to do wildlife.
We were trying to
Forget what they-
rate the bridges for like wildlife connectivity, like how effective they would be. Each of the bridges that they had within the county.
Yeah.
And prioritize them.
Yeah, and then also we help them with the roadkill data and road information, how many cars travel in those routes. We help them to make wildlife ordinance so that if you're a farmer, you leave about 25 feet of your vegetation so that wildlife can stay there and not coming to your farm or something. And then if you own houses in the rural areas, your light, you have to, dim it a little bit so that wildlife can use those areas. And so I participate in a lot of meetings and I always show up, making sure they know P22. I give them education about, they always ask about what is Anambra Crossing. I tell them more about it. And then they also ask, after this, what next?
Mhm.
And then I share with them what we're doing. And then we talk about Governor Newsom 30 by 30 initiative. We have to make sure we support that because a lot of things are getting extinct. And so we have to support that initiative.
That's to conserve 30% of the open lands and coastal areas by 2030.
Yeah.
And I just
So,
put the chat in, I just put that link in the chat with other links as well.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, it's to help with biodiversity and just opening or preserving open space, and then climate change resilience. So, and then we and Francis also attend Linkage Implementation Alliance meetings, and that's usually people from different agencies like U.S. Fish and Wildlife,
National Park Service.
yeah, National Park Service, Santa Monica Mountains.
A lot of them.
Yeah, just like people representing all of these different agencies coming together to talk about what's going on with wildlife movement and just which projects are happening, what should we be looking for, what do they need help with, things like that. Just keeping an eye out on things and informing each other about what all of our efforts are, basically.
And then also I do a lot of church activity. So I tell the churches, and the first lady that called me last Friday to tell me about a new mountain lion in Griffith Park was one of my old church member. She is 89 years old. So she listened to every news regarding this crossing and other animals. She hear about roadkill accident and you call me, what are you guys doing on this? And all that. Why you guys doesn't care about coyotes? And no, we care about every animal. So church also helped me to tell people about wildlife. And then the Sunday school kids, one of the kids donated $35 towards the crossing. And anytime a lion or animal get killed on the road and it's on the news, he will call me and scream at me, you guys not doing enough? So I help to tell people. And then also I'm working with some kind of private individuals to make sure we have wildlife safety signs on some of the highways where we experiencing roadkills and stuff like that. I need funding. So if anybody on the line want to sponsor that, thank you very much. It's just about 250,000. And so, yes, I'm doing that. And I go to places to talk about it. Most of the times, counties, cities, when they do some event, they want us to be there officially or unofficially. But anytime I go there unofficially, it become officially because, hey, that's Caltrans guy over there. Let him come and talk about P22. Let him come and talk about the wildlife crossing. So it has been there like that. So everywhere I go, it's education. I even have one of the JetBlue captain asking me about this. And I said, so you don't know P22 and you fly on LA all the time? So I educate him about it and all that. So that's everywhere I go, it become education. My co-workers in this office and other places, as we're speaking, we talk to our sister district, District 8, District 9, and District 1, 2, 3, they call themselves North Region. I like that term. And they also all doing great and amazing things. And so we share information. Anytime anybody call us, we are ready to share what we know and what we think it has been helpful.
Yeah, I just want to mention that you're talking about donating and so on. Again, in the chat, I put links for the Save LA Cougars website. And so that's another way if you want to help and you can donate to the cause. 100% of those proceeds go to the Wallace Annenberg Crossing. But you can buy apparel like the shirt that I have on with P22, and you can buy the mask that like Francis has there. But all kinds of different ways you can support that way too by donating and purchasing the apparel.
Yeah, the education piece is huge. Like you mentioned, from elementary school, I mean, it's ingraining conservation and wildlife connectivity from the get-go. And I know Laura and I have learned so much from meeting with you both, and hopefully everyone who's still here in the event today have learned so much. And it's just huge to see the executive support that comes for projects like this. We had the great honor of being invited by Beth Pratt from the National Wildlife Federation to the California Natural Resources Agency a few weeks ago to kind of capture the Wildlife Fund meeting that was happening. And there was Secretary Crowfoot, Director Tavares of Caltrans, and so many different philanthropists and stakeholders within this space. And just seeing the progressive movement that is happening and is so far underway with wildlife crossings, not just Wallis Annenberg, but as you said, so much more is happening and is to come. And all of the donations and the funds and the support and the education outreach piece of this is huge for educating people on how they can be a part and why it's so important. So you even being here today is such a huge piece of that. So we thank you both so much for everything.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Oh
It's
my
been
goodness.
definitely an honor to work with you both.
And then I cannot end this without letting people know that internationally, we have worked with people in Netherlands, in India, Mumbai. Now we have Kenya, the newest one, Germany, and then there was even a biologist from Russia who also love wildlife and then all that. And then of course our friends in North Canada, because they have wildlife crossings, Banff and all that places, very beautiful. So they all encourage us. But I always get fascinated to tell people that Los Angeles and Mumbai, India, are the only two cities in the world that have cats live with human beings side by side. And so we can live with wildlife if we give them their space and if you respect their space and all that. Los Angeles have mountain lions. Mumbai, they get tiger and leopards over there, and they coexist. They get thrilled when the tiger or leopard come near their neighborhood, and it's like P22 visiting your neighborhood. It's fancy. So it's go all the way from Africa to Asia. And also, I want to say this: I attended this conference, innovation conference, ITS International, and there was a professor that came from Japan. She did some studies in UC Irvine and then UC Berkeley, and so they were talking about wildlife, and he didn't know how you're going to let animal goes on a bridge. So after he saw this map, he came and took a picture and talked to me, and then I explained all the concept of it, and so now we are in Japan. And so internationally, we are spreading the news. Locally, we are spreading the news. Education continues. So shout out to the people in Mumbai who encouraged me. But I haven't get pet the mountain lion yet. That's my goal, like them getting tigers and leopards to pet. I want to do that so that I take a picture with a mountain lion. That would be like cool.
Oh my goodness. There's still so many questions in the chat. Let's throw you guys a nice fun one because this has been pretty heavy on your technical knowledge. So what's your favorite animal and what animal are you predicting? I mean, I know there was already the barn owl for Wallis Annenberg, but what animal besides the barn owl are you predicting will be next?
The barn owl doesn't count. We haven't finished yet. So when we finish and then everything into me, I already put my money on bobcat. But nowadays I'm afraid about the rattlesnakes and gopher snakes and frogs, and that. But I still put my money on bobcat.
I feel like it's gonna be one of the resident squirrels because there are a bunch of squirrels on site. And I know that's not super exciting, like a mountain lion, but
yes, P94 live about 1.5 miles to 2 miles in that crossing range. And so I'm rooting for him to cross first so that everybody will know that they are there and we did it for them as a keystone species. But if a bobcat beat him, it's okay. I always love lions, but I'm rooting for Bobcat at this time.
And Selena, it's okay that your pick is a tad boring compared to like a bobcat, but it's whatever wins, right? I mean, I'm sure you got
Yeah.
plenty of this, so you gotta
Whatever
get
animal wants it, I'll clap my hands, let more. And so I'm hoping that it will happen as soon as we finish, we will see the result quickly.
There you go. There you go. Well, we so appreciate all our participants. Still, so many of you hanging in strong. Laura, are there any questions? I want to get to like maybe one more question. Laura, did you want to? Was there one that you still?
Actually, I've done something on my side and I don't see the chat anymore. Sorry.
Oh, no worries, no
Are
worries.
you able to grab one?
Yeah, let me see. Okay, somebody's asking, will tarantulas use wildlife crossings? I mean, I'm assuming everything would, right?
Everything should,
Yeah. They will. They will. I mean, at that time, it belongs to them in that area. So how far can he go or can she go? We don't know, but they will.
Yeah.
They all serve part of the ecosystem and they have importance to something. So yes, they will.
What about the,
sorry, go
I
ahead.
was just gonna ask, I saw a question earlier. What about the finished completion date? I don't think we shared that earlier, right?
No, I don't think so.
They said recently that it's supposed to be around the end of 2025. And that's for both phases.
Yeah, that's where the walls
The
at.
structure over the 101 and then the structure over Agora Hills and all of the grading.
But the governor said 2026. So which one do you pick? The governor's one or yeah? So make it approximately 2026.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Someone's mentioning the new law AB 2344 that is directing Caltrans to fix wildlife crossing issues.
Yeah.
Is there anything you can say to that? It's very interesting.
So for me as a mitigation specialist, and then lover of wildlife, it's fancy to see areas of interest. And so studies like this help us. And then the law require Caltrans and CDFW to come up with areas where we think is potential need crossing. And so for us, Selena and I and other biologists in the office, whenever we have a project, we look at where it is and then do our survey and see what is there. And if it conform to these maps where we think is important, we share with CDFW. And then we move from there. So that is a great law or ordinance that has come that is helping wildlife at this time.
Yeah, and also we have been working with headquarters to do applications for culvert improvements on different routes, and that's part of, you know, the wildlife improvement stuff. So far on the books, we have 3 for sure that are getting funding, probably next year. It's a location on the 126, the 118, which is right next to the Rocky Peak area, and then the 101, which is by the Conejo Grade. And then we just turned in an application for another one that they're moving forward with right now. It's for Agua Dulce on the 14, but they haven't determined if it's going to be, you know, in the final yet.
Yeah.
So.
And then there's because of that law, there's another study going on 101 Ventura section of the 101. We call that Conejo Grade. They also National Park Service is doing the study there. The photos they have get over there, they get mountain lion, foxes, bobcat, a lot of animals there. I think there's a bear also around there. He couldn't cross, but he was hanging around there. So all these, we share that information with CDFW. And then someday we can also go to Wildlife Conservation Board for grant to build certain or to do improvement. If they don't have big money for us to build big crossing, at least some improvement money will help us. So we're following the law and working with all our entities and lovers of wildlife, private partnership, because when it comes to wildlife, I don't think the state can do it by itself. So it's supposed to be, you know, network and also private public cooperation, and then we can get the ball rolling nicely.
Excellent.
So many exciting upcoming projects.
Yeah, and that answers a lot. There's a lot of people asking, what's the future of wildlife crossings? So thank you. You guys covered that beautifully. There's quite a few
And
people
then-
asking about more about the internships and getting involved. And so Laura did share the website on student internships. And then also we will be sharing the link for our past CT Talks episodes. The most recent one we did was about student internships. That will answer all your questions there. But then also feel free to email us if there's anything specific.
Yeah, I put
And,
a lot of the links in the chat, and also for episode 10 that's coming up next month in June. You'll have to roll back through the chat because unfortunately I can't access the chat for some reason on my end. Not sure what I did, but I think Harriet's also going to put up a slide with our email just in case you need to reach out to us too.
Yeah, absolutely. We cannot thank you all enough. Thank you to Francis and Selena. We have been
Absolutely.
hang on for as long as possible to answer as many questions as possible. If there were any lingering ones, Francis and Selena, I'm sure would be happy. We'll send those over to you guys, and you can provide us some short answers we can send out with the recording.
Okay, that sounds good.
But you both have been absolutely phenomenal. Talk about being 5-star, 1,000-star, like wildlife advocates. It's
Thank
it's
you.
been an absolute honor to get to know you both. Laura and I, like Laura's done so much research here and utilized every single avenue to promote. So thank you to you both because you initiated this and being willing to be a part of this project. We are so grateful to be able to market and promote the great work that you're doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you for giving us this opportunity.
And before you sign up, let me make my sister District 8, that they're also working on 2 wildlife crossing. One is on Interstate 15, Temecula. They're going to build a wildlife crossing there. And then the Bright Line project, which is the high-speed rail coming from Las Vegas to Los Angeles. They also have 3 locations where they put in wildlife crossing for bighorn sheep and other wildlife. And so shout out to District 8, and we're working with them. Anything they need from us, we can share with them. Any other district, we won't leave you behind. I did mention North Region. They do a lot of COVID improvement for wildlife. So to you all, thank you. And all other district, all the 12 district plus any entity that joined us today, thank you internationally, locally. Thank you for supporting this event. And Laura and Harriet, we can't thank you guys enough because I don't know how you guys find us, but you have able to make sure this day must come and has come. So we want to thank you too.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you all so much.
Yeah, seriously. It's been an absolute honor. This has been a huge pet project for us both. So we've been so happy to get to know you both and learn more about these amazing initiatives. So just an absolute honor to know you. It really is.
Thank you.
We hope to come down there at some point. We're trying to make it out to P22 event. We're really excited to.
Yeah, let us know.
Let us know.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Yeah, for anybody remaining, the P22 day is coming up in October. I think it's the 19th, right, Francis?
Around that weekend, yeah.
Yeah, October 19th down in the LA area, Griffith Park. P22 day is huge. So again, go to the Save LA Cougars website. The link is in the chat and you can find more information on that too. Thank you guys so much. It's been a pleasure and so fun working with you both.
Really
Thank
has.
you.
And thank you to our audience. We still had like almost 200 people still hanging out an hour after we were supposed to be done. So
We appreciate the support
thrilled
so
that
much.
so much support. If you, the audience, have any suggestions for future topics, please email us. We want to hear from you. And if we want to do another one on wildlife crossings, and Francis was talking a lot about the other districts, let's share and utilize this platform to get more information out there. So all we need is your suggestions, and we'll make it happen. And then we do have our next episode, which is going to be episode 10 next month, with 2 phenomenal, 3 actually. We've got 2 engineers and a student intern working on the American River Bridge Rehabilitation Project here in Sacramento, and specifically focusing on bridge innovation and how they're going about that. So as Laura said, the link will be in the chat somewhere, but when we send this recording out, we'll have a link for you to sign up for that as well. We hope you will register. And then when this webinar closes, there will be a very short feedback survey. We would love to hear your feedback. We know, Francis and Selena, it took a lot for you guys. You both have very busy schedules, so we really appreciate you being here today. So we want to hear feedback, make sure we know it was worth it for all of you, and it helps us to continue these efforts and know that we're putting out some good stuff for all of a wonderful audience. Thank you again, everyone. It was an absolute pleasure. And yeah, go and enjoy your afternoons and know that you've done so much for wildlife today. So thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, look for readers, everyone.
Have a great day.
You too.